Parental advisory. It means I say shit. What's going on, everybody? Hey, James here, Wisemantimes. Just want to go over a quick situation here that happened, just so I have something to go by before details escape my brain. And just to get this clear right now, the reason I don't have any video or any photos or anything like that of this area is strictly because I live in a very violent area of Halifax in the north end on Goddington Street. If you want to Google it, go ahead. But poking a camera out and doing that type of stuff around here can get you shot. So this is me going to explain the situation because I try not to have my camera out too often around here just to avoid getting myself into trouble. So this is the explanation of the situation. Last night I was standing at the window just over there to the balcony having a cigarette like I always do because it's cold outside. I don't want to stand out on the balcony and freeze my ass off every time I want to go for a smoke, and I can still stand at the window where the draft brings the smoke outside and I don't have to worry about the smoke still getting inside and smelling up the place because there's 2 kids that live here and we don't smoke indoors and blah 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 blah. And I would go out the front door, but during the night the front door makes a really loud noise, wakes up the kids, you know how it goes. So I smoke out that door. Last night, cab pulls up, girl gets out, goes to the place that's across the parking lot, the little square that's in front of the back here, and across there is another row of apartments or whatever, townhouses, duplexes, whatever you want to call them. And she gets out, goes in, and she's standing and knocking at her door. Now earlier in that day, the lady who lived there, I had asked her if she could stop her dog from barking because I was trying to sleep, and he'd been barking straight for like 30 minutes, and it was like having an alarm clock going off for 30 minutes straight that you couldn't turn off. So eventually I got up and I went out on the balcony and asked her if she could turn off, if she could stop her dog from barking. Then I went back indoors, you know. So anyway, last night, girl's standing at the door and the dog's barking, and it's pretty late at night. I'd say it's like 1 o'clock, 1:30, and she's standing there banging on the door for maybe a minute, 2 minutes. Dog's barking, she's yelling at the dog to stop barking. I'm standing there having a cigarette. You know, when I'm blowing the smoke out, I have to look out the door, right? So, and they're directly across from me. So naturally, it's going to look like I'm looking at them, especially when it's dark out at night. But, you know, I just pop my head out, blow the smoke, ash it, pop my head back indoors, and look over to the corner where my computer is, where I'm sitting now. And so the lady who was there opened the door, and she just fucking snaps. And she starts yelling. She's like, "You need to mind your own fucking business. I've been living here for 45 fucking years, and who the fuck do you think you are?" I'm like, I'm just having a smoke. Literally, I'm just having a smoke. Like, I don't give a fucking shit what the fuck you're doing. Who the fuck do you think you are? And she goes back indoors, slams the door shut. Not even within 5 minutes, I'm still having the same cigarette, and the cops are outdoors. And I go out on the balcony. One cop goes in and talks to her. Another cop comes in, or comes down below the balcony and starts talking to me. And the cop looks at me, he's like, "So what are you doing?" I'm like, "You're looking at it, I'm having a smoke, is there a problem?" And he's like, "Well, you know, she's saying you're looking over there. She's, you know, she's been living here for, you know, a long time and everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, and what does that have to do with why you were here? I'm having a cigarette, what's the problem?" And the cop just says, you know, we have a little back and forth, basically just saying, you know, she calls the cops for stupid reasons all the time, and he's basically telling me that, you know, she's been living here a long time and she has connections and people that live around here and everything, and I need to lay low. He told me I had to lay low and not cause problems. And I was like, well, since I'm just standing here having a cigarette, why don't you suggest to me what not causing problems would entail then? Since I'm just having a smoke. And you're here for what? And he basically says, yeah, you know, she's a little off. And I was like, yeah, you can say that. She's a little off since you're standing out here. And then I went on to explain that the other day when I was shoveling out my car, she came and yelled at me because I happened to shovel the snow in the wrong direction, because I had a plan in my mind of how I was going to shovel the snow that didn't go along with how she wanted the snow to go. So she starts bitching. I wasn't even out there 5 minutes. I was shoveling that snow for hours. And she starts, and I was explaining this to her. I'm like, she goes off on me randomly all the time. When I first moved in here, you know, I engaged her, but I quickly learned not to. Now I just say, you know, I'm just doing this and just leave it at that, and then she still continuously goes off. And I even told him, I'm surprised this is the first time you've been here, because she has a tendency of calling the cops for stupid fucking reasons, for wasting your guys' time. And this is just another example of it. I just happen to be the person who's getting it today. So the cop goes back indoors. And, you know, I finish my cigarette and I come back to what I was doing. And, you know, I leave a message for Kelly, the girl that I'm living with. You guys know that there's two little girls who live here, like I mentioned at the start. So, you know, I had to tell Kelly that happened, that, you know, the cops were called on me. So I explained it to her in a message. And then she got that message today, and she was on her way to go to the gym, and I was, you know, having another smoke like I always do, and another cab pulls up. So out of this cab comes the crazy lady's son, who apparently is a little more crazy, because he came out of the cab staring directly at me. And behind him came out the lady, and she was all like, looked like she had been crying, and she was really tired or whatever, and she looked really calm. First time I ever saw her really calm. And he's just giving me the devil's eye, and he just start going off on me, telling me that, you know, he's gonna fucking break my arms, and not even to look over there, and if I do, he's gonna come over here and beat me down and cut me up, and you know, I was like, dude, I'm just having a smoke. He's like, I don't give a fuck what you're doing, I'll do it just for the fun of it. He's like, I've been to jail, I've been to the hospital, I don't give a fuck, I'll go back, I don't give a shit. He's like, I'll come over there, I'll fucking break down your house, I'll blow you the fuck up, I don't give a shit, I'll do whatever the fuck I please. And then the lady standing next to him looking up at me, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, I'm just minding my own business. Like, what's going on? And he's like, don't you fucking look at her. Don't you fucking, do you want me to come? I'll come up there right now. I don't give a fuck. It's like, dude, I haven't done anything wrong. He's like, you don't have to do shit. I'll fucking do it for the fun of it. And then the lady starts going off telling him to calm down. And then the granddaughter comes out the window, starts yelling at them to come indoors and to leave me alone. And meanwhile, he's like threatening me, and then I look at her, and she tells me that, you know, because of last night she had to go to the hospital because her blood pressure went through the roof. And I'm like, how's that my problem? Like, what did I do to cause this? Why are you blaming me for this? I did nothing wrong. And the son comes out again. You don't have to do fucking shit. We do whatever the fuck we want. If we want to fucking slice you up, we'll fucking do it. We don't give a shit. I'll go back to the fucking jail. I don't give a fuck. I'm like, alright, dude. And then I looked at her. I'm like, would you prefer if I go out front to smoke? And he comes back. You want to go outside? Come the fuck outside. Come out front. And you want to go out front? I'm like, dude, I'm asking her politely if she would prefer for me to go out front to have my cigarettes if it is bothering her that much. You know, being nice. And then she starts crying, and then he starts going off again. And then they finally get him inside, meanwhile still threatening to cut my throat and all this other shit, and doesn't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck, I'll do what the fuck I please. And yeah. That's called being a jailer for life. That's somebody who... See, it's every once in a while in my life that I'm reminded that regardless of how much anger I have, regardless of how bad my past was, regardless of how much hatred I have for certain things and how resentful I can be at times and how down I can get and depressed, it's times like that that remind me I could be worse. And it's sad that someone like myself can do nothing and still have people take out their aggressions on them. Like, you know, I just happen to be a target. They're an angry family and they need somebody to dish their anger out on, and I just happen to be there at the wrong time. Both times. Just happen to be there both times at the wrong time. And I just happen to be the person they're taking it out on. You know, people like that tend to take it out on other people instead of themselves. It's called bullies. It's exactly what they are. And if bullies aren't kept in check and they don't learn, that's the type of people they turn out to be. So take that as a lesson. You know, smarten up, or that's pretty much what you're going to end up like. Threatening people, threatening to kill people for doing nothing and being proud of it. Stay strong, stay wise, folks. Let this be a lesson. Peace.
This is my life as I live with my cat and me. What you got to give? So sit and explore my life.
Hey everybody, don't forget, I have Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus for you to share all my videos on if you like them. If you comment, like, share, and all that, it goes a long way to help me out. Also, if you go onto Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus, you can keep up to date with Wisemantimes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.